Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your daily dose of Chelsea FC news. Gonna quickly interrupt myself actually and go, and the door shut itself. That was quite clever. I think this means that this is gonna be a good video. If you're excited for the rest of the vid, hit the like button. Please don't forget to do so and subscribe if you are new. We're on the final to 200k now. It's less than 1,000 away. Can we make it before tomorrow's video? But I've got myself a new blue pen and a new notebook because, well, I'm basically just trying to give myself some little pointers on the side. We've got some stories to talk about today. We've got a beautiful new Chelsea away kit to have a little ganders at. We've got some updates on the nature of the Koundé deal from Sevilla. Zuma going the other way, 30 to 35 million also coming from Chelsea Football Club. I want to know your thoughts on that. And then there's also some updates from Simon Phillips regarding our pursuit of a striker. And it's not the one that you think it might be. The door's opened itself again. There's ghostly stuff going on. Give me a sec. That was easy. So let's start off with the first story of the day. And it is the updates regarding the deal for Jules Koundé from Sevilla. Chelsea are still very confident that this deal is going to go over the line. The deal itself is looking more and more likely that it's going to be around £30 million plus Kurt Zuma. Some people are saying that why should we get rid of Zuma? He's a goal-scoring centre-back. We're also looking at the ages of the two players. Jules Koundé is obviously only 22. And the fact that it is only 30 million outlet in terms of what Chelsea will be financially spending, it shouldn't change the wages too much because I can't imagine that Koundé will be on too much more than what Kurt Zuma is on in terms of wages per week. So the news regarding this deal with Chelsea is reported from Nizar Kinsella that it wouldn't really make Chelsea worry about the other two main targets that we're going for this summer, which is, of course, a central defensive midfielder, most likely, we'll get onto one of those later, and also a striker. So the more that we see from this, the more I think that within the next couple of days, this deal could be hashed out and completed. And then obviously we'll see the medicals. Koundé will become a Chelsea player and he'll go straight into the first team squad for next season. We talked about this one a lot yesterday. I really like Jules Koundé. The more I see, the more I read about him, the more I read everyone's opinion, I do feel as though this is one of those Chelsea signings where it's not an immediate, he goes straight into the first team. But I think in terms of the potential and the value of which we're going to spend, including the idea that Kurt Zuma isn't really Thomas Tuchel's first choice centre-back, I think with all parties considered, Zuma's a Champions League winner, he's been at Chelsea a long time, but I think this is a good move for every single person involved. 30 million euros is still quite a lot of money. It does put a dent in Chelsea's transfer budget, but as we've already established over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've already made pretty much 50 million from player sales so far. So I think Jules Koundé is going to be a good sign-in. It looks as though this one is going to go over the line. The next story is a man I've not really spoken about that much here on GBFC because as much as I believe that Chelsea would love to sign Declan Rice, the striker's the number one priority. West Ham United asking for 100 bloody million for Declan Rice certainly moves that towards the back of Chelsea's priority list. Unless West Ham are willing to budge and unless Declan Rice actually goes in and says, listen, I want to leave the club, I want to leave now, which I don't believe he's going to do, then Chelsea's attention might need to be drawn elsewhere. And this man from Monaco, who goes by the name of Tchouaméni, might have absolutely butchered that one. Not the reason I haven't talked about him before, because I was too scared to say the name, but it is a pretty tough one. But the geezer plays for Monaco, very, very young. And the price that we would get Tchouaméni for is significantly lower to that of what we'd have to spend on Declan Rice. It's been reported from Simon Phillips, and Maka also spoke about it as well, saying that we've got to keep our eyes on this one. And at the moment, as time draws on, Chelsea know that the calibre of striker that they need to buy is going to cost them at least 100 million euros. So if Declan Rice is also going to cost 100 million pounds, let's say 110, 120 million euros, Chelsea know that it might not be financially feasible. Unless we significantly sell members of the squad, that's going to make this an incredibly expensive summer. Tchouaméni is a very, very decent player. He's very young. I wouldn't say, in my personal opinion, that he is as good as Declan Rice, but at the moment, it's looking like Ruben Loftus-Cheek could be in Tuchel's plans. We've got Jorginho, we've got Kante, we've got Kovacic. It's not like any of those are going to be retiring anytime soon, and I think Tchouaméni would be a very good addition to the Chelsea side. And then maybe in a year, 2 years, Kante's getting on a bit, maybe Jorginho, as much as I'd love him to stay, and he is staying at Chelsea, maybe he flirts with a move back to Italy if he drops out the side at any time, so then maybe we go in for Declan Rice then. At the moment, from my personal opinion here on GBFC, I don't think a move for Declan Rice is going to happen this summer. From all the reports that are coming out of Chelsea, the striker is the #1 priority. And as this video moves on, we're going to talk about a striker, because this morning there was some news again about potential Chelsea progressions with Lukaku. But before we talk about Romelu Lukaku, I want to just spend a little moment getting a bit excited about a kit. You know, normally when kits come out, there is a very staple response. Because it's new, we're a bit like, oh, it looks a bit gross. And then there's also the very common theme in football nowadays that as people who have looked at football kits for pretty much our whole lives, if you love football as much as I do, I absolutely adore the old classic styles. You know, it's very minimalistic. There's none of these like wacky patterns going all over in front of your eyes. But this away kit Chelsea have just released, it's yellow and black, ever so slightly similar to that of Borussia Dortmund, which means Erling Haaland would in fact look absolutely golden and rosy in it. But Haaland propaganda aside for 1 second, the images you can see on the screen right now, I don't know about you, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below, but I think this is a beautiful, beautiful Chelsea away kit. Nike have done a good job, Chelsea have done a good job. We're not dealing with any more red or rubbish. This is a very clean, nice, I absolutely adore it. Gonna be copping one myself. Let me know your thoughts on the away kit in the comments down below. The next story that I want to talk about today, and this is probably the biggest one of the day, Simon Phillips has reported this morning with news coming out of Italy that Roman Abramovich has a family member currently in Italy negotiating with Romelu Lukaku. Now, I don't know how much about the Roman Abramovich family member link is true, but the talk is that Chelsea are willing to offer Inter Milan 100 million euros with the potential of that rising to 130 million euros. Gonna play devil's advocate on this idea for 1 second. It has been reported that Chelsea have a budget set aside for 130 million euros for a striker this summer, which we know is significantly lower than the asking price of Dortmund for Erling Haaland. So part of me feels as though these reports, as much as I'm not belittling the journalism whatsoever, part of me might see this as, well, it makes sense to report something like this because all of the talk is about Chelsea, Haaland, 130 million is the budget, but that is less than what Borussia Dortmund wants. So therefore, we know that Chelsea have interest in Romelu Lukaku as well as Erling Haaland. They're not going to sign both of them. So as Dortmund continue to be persistent with their, we're not selling Erling Haaland this summer, there's no bid coming in. You can see a couple of tweets up on the screen now where Borussia Dortmund are signing Marlon from PSV, but they're not doing that with the intention of Erling Haaland leaving the club this summer. They're staying very, very stern, which of course has a lot to do with the fact that they don't need to sell him this year. Haaland's not pushing for the move away. So the more they're asked about this, the more they remain resilient in saying no. It just on putting that ball in Chelsea's court of if they really want the geezer, stick the money in. As for Romelu Lukaku, I have tried to stay away from the idea of being a bit like, about this one because Lukaku's such a good striker. But 100 million, potential 130 million to Inter Milan for Lukaku, it's one of those where I can't get the idea out of my head that this guy used to be a Chelsea player and we ended up selling him to Everton after he missed a penalty in a Super Cup game. Lukaku, other than that just thing that we just probably won't be able to shake off for a little bit of time if that is the fee that we're paying for him, Lukaku is a phenomenal striker. He is an absolute goal machine, and I think he would bag goals at Chelsea Football Club. And I don't want it to come across that I'm not interested in Romelu Lukaku, simply because I've been pushing an Erling Haaland propaganda agenda train for quite some time. I'm still fully much like driving the train forward as much as I can until Chelsea go out and actually make a move for someone like Lukaku. This news was reported by Simon Phillips this morning coming out of Italy. There might be developments as the day progresses, and if there is, then I'm sure we'll end up stopping the Haaland propaganda train, because if Chelsea bring in Romelu Lukaku, Erling Haaland is certainly not coming to Chelsea. That wraps up that one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And this one hasn't been reported by anybody. There's some birds having an absolute field day up here. Don't know what they're doing up there. I don't want to look really. It might be a little bit vulgar. But little personal thing that I wanted to add to the end of today's Chelsea FC news video. I have always been an admirer of Paul Pogba in the idea of him playing for Chelsea football. Now, I want to leave you guys with a question today, and I would love to hear your answers in the comments below. Manchester United are reportedly very interested in signing Leon Goretzka from Bayern Munich this summer. Pogba, Chelsea, has always been a flirtatious idea in the mind of the media, maybe in the mind of the player. And what would you guys think, instead of going for Declan Rice or Tchouaméni, if Chelsea were to offer 60, 70 million for Paul Pogba this summer if United bring in midfield replacements? I'm not going to say any more than that. I just want to know what you guys have to in the comments down below. But thank you guys for watching this GBFC Chelsea FC news video. I will see you guys tomorrow or maybe later today if there's more news to give you. Thank you for watching. See you all later. Come on, you Blues.